Good afternoon, good night, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Why am I nervous? Um, Welcome to another episode of Society of Pop Culture 101. I am Instructor BK Spades.
I'm Instructor Novacaine.
No, if you gotta tell them everything they need to do for us real quick.
Huh? What'd you say?
You gotta tell them everything to do for us real quick.
Oh, I was gonna say because I knocked out my headphones when I did the first time in a long time. But anyway, please go over to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you guys hit follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like, share, subscribe, leave some comments. Make sure you interact with us, and we're gonna interact back on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Society and Pop Culture 101. Also, don't forget to go to www.societyandpopculture101.com, where you can find all of our episodes, older episodes, even when we were the BK Spades Show, and you'll see all of our socials there too.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Okay, so on today's episode, it's a really special one. It is an
Yes.
episode that we've been wanting to do for like a month now. But I'm not gonna bog you down with story time on that. But the person that we have today is a writer, a public speaker. I'm using my notes. Anyway, a writer, a public speaker, the list is long, an activist,
Mm-hmm.
a strategic media consultant. He was the former national spokesperson for GLAD. He's a mentor, a teacher at Hedrick Martin Institute. He's been featured on Moth Stories, uh, TED Talks, CNN, MSNBC, MTV, News Nation, and a slew of documentaries. If I
Yes.
got any of that wrong, correct me when you get here. But coming to the class to address the class today, we got none other than Tiq Milan.
Hey man.
T.
Hey y'all. Thanks for having me. Man, you sound good. That's
Oh
what's
man,
up.
we're good.
Did he get anything wrong, T?
No, you got it all right. I was at Glad, I was at Hedrick Martin,
Mm-hmm.
activist, advocate, mentor, all that. All that.
All that.
You have a long list of accolades as well. I saw like
Yes.
a lot of awards. I do not have all of them written down because I'm not great at this, obviously. But could you talk about before we get into that? Could you
Yeah.
tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes.
A little bit about me. Tiq Milan, based in Los Angeles, has been out here now for less than a year. Just moved out here in February. Drove cross country from Brooklyn
Oh
for
wow.
23 years. Now I'm here, just trying to make my way out here on the West Coast. What else about me? I'm a father. I'm divorced. I'm single-ish, kind of. We can talk about that later. Um, you know, and then just as far as work, like all the work is still working. I'm still mentoring lots of young people and older folks. I'm still out here in the community trying to advocate for the rights of trans people and Black queer people. Still helping people with their media, teaching, creating courses, you name it. I'm out here doing all of those things. And I guess that, I don't know, I'm a Cancer. I'm all around nice guy.
Oh, you're a Cancer?
Damn, are you?
Oh, no, I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay.
But Cancer
I
and
love
Libra
Libra
be
stuff.
right here. Cancer
Yeah,
and
oh yeah,
Libra be right
yeah,
there.
yeah. I love you, Libra, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I have Cancer in my birth chart, so
Okay. Yeah, I got some Libra in my chart too.
My
see?
brother, my brother's a
My
Cancer.
brother.
So
I keep saying this.
Yeah.
We right here.
BK,
We right there.
you said you got a Cancer brother?
yeah, my brother's a Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I'm Team Gemini apparently.
I think Gemini. I like
But
Geminis.
Apparently. Ain't no apparently.
I like it.
what is that
Geminis
supposed to
get
mean?
that rap.
Geminis do get a bad rap, and they're actually one of
So
my
I
favorite
hear.
signs.
Yeah, I like them. They're a good crash out.
I like
And
how
we
you
just
said
talked
that.
about crash outs last week.
I
Yeah,
like how a good crash out. We were just talking about crash outs last week.
yeah,
I like that. I like that.
yeah. Sometimes you
So
need a good one.
let me tell you how we stumbled. I should say
Fumbled.
stumbled
Okay.
upon you, Teak. So one day I'm out of my business scrolling through TikTok, BK scrolling through YouTube. But at the same exact time, we both come across the poem that you did for Moth. And I messaged him on TikTok. He messages me on Facebook, and he's like, have you seen this poem yet? I was like, I've never seen this poem before, bro. Like, who is this guy? We have to have him on the show. When I tell you, like, it just felt like something divine had happened in that moment, because what were the odds of both of us seeing your poem, the same exact poem, on two different platforms?
Hmm.
Over, like, we got to have him on the show. Um, this poem was probably one of the best things I've seen this year. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, it was
It
fire though.
was really, it
Thank
was
you.
really, really good, Teak.
Thank you so much.
Like it even resonated in me in a sense, you know. As we were talking about earlier, my mom had just passed and things like that.
Mhm.
But of course, I'm not a trans person, but I
Mhm.
do understand, like, coming into a different type of person and having your parents and just being accepting of you. So I wanted to know more in depth. How was the dynamic between you and your mom?
Um, it was really good, and thanks for listening to my story, and for that leading me here. I gave it all up to my mother, because this story is really just about her. So my dynamic with my mom, it was always really good, and I laid it out in the story how I came out to her at 14, 15 when I came out her as a lesbian, and then I came out again like 10 years later as a trans man. And the one thing that sticks out to me about the love and relationship I have with my mother is that she always loved me. She understood that when you love someone unconditionally, there's no but after that. And I think that she spent a lot of her time really trying to understand me. And in that understanding, she began to understand herself in a more complicated way.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think, like, when we talk about, you're not a trans person, but I have transitions, but we all go through transitions in our humanity. We all change, we all evolve. And this is just
Yes.
a big part of my evolution as a person. And I have to say that my mother and my father too, shout out to him. They both have been very, very, very supportive and very loving along the way. And that's a part of the reason why I always talk about my family. I talk about my mom and my dad and my beautiful Black family, because as a Black trans person, I come from a family of people who are very accepting.
Yes.
Really, it was. I mean, it was deep. Like, I think the worst was I was probably like family gossip for a minute. Like, girl, take this your boy. I don't know what Mary gonna do. You know what I'm
who
saying? I think that's about the
who
extent.
doesn't become a little bit of family gossip? We all fall to it.
Yeah,
Everybody ends up a little bit, you know.
yeah. You might be the gossip, but they got to come together for an intervention. Sometimes it's you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
exactly,
but yeah,
exactly.
but my dynamic with my mother was great. She was my best friend, and I have to say I learned a lot through our relationship, and I learned a lot about myself through her death too,
Hmm.
which is a lot to carry. But I carry it, and I carry it well. I mean, I miss her every day, but I'm really glad that I had her
How
for
long has it been now since she's passed?
11 years.
Dang!
11 years. It's
Wow.
long. Yeah, and it's crazy because when she first passed away, I didn't think I was gonna make it. I
Yeah.
really, I really was like, they tell you take it day by day.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry if this is triggering to you, Nova. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Listen, you preaching to the choir right now. Go ahead. I'm
Okay,
listening.
okay. They tell you take it day by day. I really had to take it like minute by minute. I literally, like, time just it slowed down so slow, and it was just like minute by minute until eventually, I could like be present in life. But like those couple years, I don't know what happened in pop culture. I don't know what's happened in music. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
2014, 15. I don't know.
The
Just
facts.
completely lost, lost, lost,
Facts.
lost
I
in the world.
I know that feeling oh too well right now,
Mhm.
and I love that you even said that. I hope I'm not triggering you, because some people have been just randomly triggering me,
Yeah.
and they don't even care. They just, they want to. It's like when you're going through the grief and things, they want to do it for themselves to make themselves feel better in a sense. But I
Mhm.
really do appreciate you saying that. But yes, I wholeheartedly understand what you're saying, because sometimes it's not easy as taking it day by day. You have to take it minute by minute,
Yeah.
because it's like, bro, it's like it's something that goes on with the brain in those first couple of months. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
lost my dad 5 years ago,
Mm.
so like that kind of reminded me of how I went through during that time.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, but it hits different with the mama. Like,
Yeah.
bruh, that
Yeah.
was my best friend.
That was my girl.
That's my
That was my man
girl.
50 grand
Okay.
right there, boy.
Okay. So it's like just having to adjust and everything. But yes, I wholeheartedly agree. I still send my sympathy and my condolences to you, because it's one of those things that never
Same.
just It never is never going to change. When my mom was still here and she would talk about her mom, she's like, I miss my mom every day, and she's been
Oh yeah.
gone for 40 years.
Yep. My mother's same thing. Same thing. When my grandmother died, my mother used to miss her for decades. And
Decade.
I had posted something about grief before because I was thinking about a lot of grief. I don't have a relationship with my daughter, and I was thinking about her, and I was thinking about how grief is something that we have to hold and that we just
Mm-hmm.
carry with us. It's you
Mm,
don't ever really get rid of it. You're not going to get over it, but you gotta learn how to hold it in a really healthy kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it becomes a part of you. That missing of that person is always going to be there. That space that they leave in your heart and in your world is always going to be there. But it's like how do you continue on? How do you
Yes.
continue in their honor and in their legacy? And for me, my mother, and I said this in the story, is that our parents are raising us to live in this world without them.
Yes, they are.
mm.
I could just hear my mother now, like I ain't raised no punks. You need to get up,
You need to
ass up, and you need to get to work, and you need to
right,
live your life and
right,
do it like I
and
taught you.
live your life.
And
Live
do
your
like I taught
life.
you. And that's the thing
Mhm.
that was that thought is the thing that kept me going. When I
Mhm.
was really just wallowing in the grief, I could just hear her saying, "Get up."
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel
Yeah.
you.
She
So,
seems she definitely seemed like just from the little bit from the poem, and like she was really a great basis of support for you.
oh yeah,
Um, but what about we I don't know about your dad, so I'm kind of curious, especially being a man and
yeah,
in that space. What was his thought process like going into my daughter is now my son? What?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He was cool with it. Let me tell you a story how this happened. Me and my dad. So I was in my transition. I hadn't had a full beard yet, but it was clear something was going on with me. So I go back home. I'm from originally from Buffalo, New York. So I take my girlfriend from Brooklyn, the Bronx at the time, and we go to Buffalo to visit. I'm at my dad's house, and we're talking, and she's referring to me as he, and my father is referring to me as she, and we're all at the kitchen table, and I just want to like just crawl under a rock, right? Because I don't know what to say. So we're having this conversation. All the pronouns are being used. So that happens. I get back home to the Bronx. My dad calls me. He says, "He now? Is that what we doing? Is it he?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yes, yes, sir.
That's what we're doing. He said, "Well, do you got a black suit and a blue suit?" And I said, "I have a black suit."
Mm.
He said, "Well, every man needs a black suit and a blue suit, so I guess I got to buy you a blue suit." And then that was it.
Mm.
And
Dads have a funny way of just rolling with the punches
he
sometimes.
just rolled with it. He just rolled with it. We haven't really had any big conversations about it. I noticed that our conversations have changed. Now, it's been years now. I started my transition damn near 20 years ago. So
Okay.
it's been a long, long time. Um, we talk more like friends. I feel like he protects me less. You know, like I
Mm.
remember growing up, my mother used to tell me, "Boy, your daddy could cuss like a sailor." And I'm like, "Me, my father, my weird father." Now as his son, boy, them f bombs be dropping. You know,
Well,
I'm like, I didn't
so
know you could talk like this.
it's just I know you said you were the fourth daughter, so you don't have any other siblings in it. So it was just all girls.
Yeah, it was four girls.
Oh, so Pops was like,
Oh.
finally.
No, yeah, yes, he was so happy. We're going to son.
Thank you. I love that though, because there's such a stigma behind black families not supporting their children in their transitions and in their homosexuality.
Mhm.
Anything that they don't call normal, it's
Yeah.
a hard time for them to accept it. I'm going to say one of my quick examples in my own family. I have a niece that's transitioning.
Mhm.
Um, and my niece used to be my nephew, but to respect her, I made
Mhm.
sure that I say niece. I make sure that I say her. I make sure I say she. Now, there is a disconnect I've noticed between like older generation with the newer generation. So, what
Yeah.
have you done during your advocacy to like help the older generation understand the newer generation?
Mhm. It was a couple things because I had that in my family too. My grandmother was getting it wrong. And I was like, Granny, it's okay. And she was like, I don't have a lot of time left, so I need to get it right. you know,
Shout
saying
out to her. Shout out to her for saying that.
Yeah.
Not too
For
much, yeah.
making the attempt is
God rest. Yeah,
Hmm.
and have an aunt that gets it wrong. So first, I'd say to the younger people, like first give older people, give people grace. Give
Hmm.
people grace, but also hold your boundaries. Give
Yeah.
people grace, but
Okay.
also hold your boundaries. And then for other people, just like look at the person that's in front of you, not who you think that they're supposed to be, not how you define
Hmm.
them, right? But how they define themselves. And it's easier said than done because oftentimes it's an internal thing where people have never taken the intentional steps or zoomed out to kind of define themselves for themselves.
Hmm.
And I think that that's the disconnect I think with the generations, because I think with younger generations, younger people now, Gen Z and younger like millennials, are understanding and are intentional about defining themselves. Like, this is who I am, this is who I'm not. I don't have to be a
Yeah.
part of the system. I don't have to be a part of this institution. I think older generations weren't necessarily given that cultural latitude to do that. So
Hmm.
it comes from an internal
Mm.
place. So give them grace, but hold your boundaries, and they just have to be better. See the person in front of
Yeah.
you. My mother and her sister used to practice. They role
I
play.
remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that.
People role play. So just be intentional about respecting the person that you love. That's
Yeah.
it's not like I knew who you were. No,
That's who I was.
that's who I was. And if you
That's
can't
who
get
I
who I
was.
am now, then you can get away from me straight up. And I'll say
Period.
that to all the trans folks and queer folks. If you got family who are being deliberately, willfully ignorant, leave them alone.
Hmm.
Leave them
Mm.
alone.
Because
Straight
there's
up.
so many people that's gonna accept you for you.
So many, so many.
So many
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah, and
Like
I think.
we're
Go
in that age now where we're just finding our whole little village just out there.
Yeah.
Like it's so much. How can I say this? So much easier because of the internet. Like you
Mhm.
can just go
Oh
out
yeah.
there and find your people so much easier now. So it's like you don't have to suffer in silence.
No, you don't. And you can create your village, and family is what you create. They have that saying that what is it? Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
the whole saying is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, right?
Oh,
Which
I didn't
means,
know that.
yeah, that's the whole saying. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which means the covenant, which is the promises, right?
Right.
So the
Hmm.
promises and the love that we create between us means way more than any type of blood that we may share or any kind of family name or womb that we may share.
Right.
It's about this. So, and I think that that's just kind of like this queering of family, right? So, like
Yeah.
creating a experience for yourselves. You can be related to folks, y'all can have the same name, y'all can look alike and all of that. But if they cannot respect you and for the complexity in your human existence, they don't have to be your family. And you can go and find your own family.
I'm
And I
about to start cussing.
think
No, no,
I'm not gonna do
PG,
it. I'm not gonna do it.
PG,
But it's the fact
PG
that like
13.
I've just never heard this before. I never heard that was the full
that's the
saying.
full saying.
That was the full saying this entire
Now
time,
you now
Teak.
we
You just
live in
dropped
a
the
country
bomb
where
on
we
me.
just cut everything off to like the quickest way of saying it.
Nah, you're right.
Yep, and it's a power grab too. It's a way
Yep.
to blood is sticking away. It's a way to keep people focusing on your family. What if your family's full of a bunch of doofuses, a bunch of goofballs and scammers, and a bunch of homophobes? No, I ain't got to hang
Mm.
out with y'all.
I cut family off quick. I love y'all, but that
Quick,
Yeah.
don't mean I won't just disappear from y'all for a while because I will. I've done
Holla
it.
back. I'm going
That's a
to
good.
celebrate.
I think that's a good segue to my next question.
hmm
I kind of want to move into faith because I kind of heard a little bit
hmm
about your faith within your
hmm
poetry
hmm
and some on your TED talk as well.
hmm
Um, so how does your transition and all of that and your advocacy impact your faith? Because I know as a person of faith,
hmm
I be in church, all right.
Same.
I know that a lot of times people aren't accepting
Yeah.
and they could be confused or they just think you're like a demon baby or something. So how do you combat that? How do you like
A demon baby.
navigate, people say stuff. How do you navigate that world?
Yeah, I don't live in that world. I don't really know. I don't really. My faith. First, a shout out to Middle Church. Middle Church is the church that I'm a member at. I was baptized, and it's a very inclusive church. And the way the theology is positioned is that we understand that Jesus was a man of the people, and
Mm,
Jesus would have been a protester. When we talk about Jesus
yes.
of the people, not the state, because the Romans are the ones who killed Jesus. He was killed by the state, right? But Jesus was
Hmm.
out there with with the poor and with the downtrodden, and would be out there with the trans folks and with the poor people
He
and
was.
on the front lines. He would.
Was.
So my theology when it comes to being a Christian is based in that. So I don't necessarily live in that world. And I hate to see it because I think, it's almost embarrassing to call yourself a Christian. You're like, no, I love Jesus and I go to church. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It can be embarrassing because Christians are so awful. Christians are
we can
so,
be.
oh, so bad. And
We
there's
definitely can be.
there's no hate like Christian love. You know,
Mm.
Oh
and
man.
I've seen that a few times because this idea that people use Christianity as a way to justify their own bigotry, right?
Yes.
And use this idea of like
Mm,
the God of judging and all, and and a part of the theology, there is a lot of judgment in theology, and there's a lot of the dogma around like saving souls and all of these things. But when you get down to like the red letters, when you get into the red letters, when you get into the word of Christ, it's a whole different thing. Like I really believe that God is just love, and Jesus was a personification of that, right?
Mm.
And they say like God is love and just love each other, period, which is the tagline for my church. It feels hokey and it's an oversimplification, but the thing is that if we show up in love and our love in action for all people, then we are living like Christ's virtue. Because here's the thing: the two greatest commandments we have, right, is to love God with your whole mind and your whole soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself, right? And I
mm,
can't really wholly love myself if I don't understand the divinity in me. If I don't
Mm.
love God with my whole mind and my whole soul, then I can't love myself. And if I'm supposed to be a conduit of God's love, then I have to love my neighbor. And my neighbor is everybody. And
yes.
even Christ taught us that. And that's one of my, and I'm trying to get not to get too churchy, but like one of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of the Samaritan, right? Did you know that story of the Samaritan? So it's
The
nobody,
Samaritan woman.
what happened?
The Samaritan woman.
No, not the Samaritan woman, not that one. It was the Samaritan man, and he was walking to, I think he was going to Jericho. I don't know. I just made up.
Oh,
Maybe he was going to Jericho. He was going someplace, and
I
he was
don't. I think I
walking,
know
and
something.
he got beat up. He got beat up and robbed by a bunch of hooligans. He got beat up and robbed by a bunch of hooligans, and everybody was walking past the Samaritan because he was a Samaritan. He wasn't a Jew. He wasn't. He wasn't. Of these groups. And so everybody's walking past him, like, so a rabbi walks past him and a priest walks past him or whatever. Well, there's no priest at that time, but a rabbi walks past him and a judge walks past him. And Christ is like, well, why don't you help this person? They said, because that's not my neighbor. No, because that's not my neighbor because they're different from me. And Jesus was like, nah, Shorty, that's not how that works. That's not
Mm-hmm.
how that works. Anybody that you see in need, anybody that you see is broken or is homeless or is hungry, then this is your neighbor. Your job as a person who follows Christ is to bestow love on everybody. No,
Mm.
and that's the kind of thing that fuels me as a Christian. Not this Christian nationalist. Jesus ain't some white boy up in the clouds from Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? That's not what this
Yeah.
is. Right? Jesus is a brown man from Palestine, okay, who was a Jew and who was a product of a teenage mother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's understand like exactly the human behind who Jesus was, the humanity of Christ, and also like the historical context. So anyway, that's just a long way to say that the bigots and the Christian bigots really don't have an effect on me. They don't affect how I show up, and it doesn't affect my relationship with God at all because I have a different relationship to Christ and to God and to theology than they do. And I think that my
It
way is
is.
Mm,
It
I
is.
dig it. I was waiting on you to say Jesus is woke.
yeah,
On the low.
I mean, he
listen.
was.
On the
Yeah.
low. He was. On
And
the
if you really
low.
get into it, yeah.
Yeah.
On the low.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Christianity. I was raised in a Christian church
Mhm.
household, but like growing up and things, I've kind of strayed away from it because it's just been so many different things that I didn't agree with. But
Yeah.
I have my own relationship with Jesus, with God.
Mhm.
And the way you just like laid it out just now, like it kind of made me want to go to your church. Like
Yeah.
y'all
Good.
y'all meet every Sunday, right?
And listen, every Sunday, virtual churches at 8:45 or no wait 11:45
eleven
Eastern.
forty. Okay, 11:45 Eastern. Oh, that's they
Church.org.
nothing.
Yeah,
Shoot. Hey y'all.
check us out.
And your
Hey,
your
NASA.
faith is your faith, and nobody can tell you otherwise. Period, Nessa. Your
Yeah,
faith is your faith, and I think that's where a lot of people are missing it in this country of today. Because as you can see, as we can all see,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
at,
wild out here. It's the wild
at the
wild
end of the
west.
day, if you're not living for the true heart of Christ, then I don't know what you're doing anyway.
Yeah,
It's a waste of time. You
especially
like
when
you
you say
said,
you're
it's
a
the
Christian.
Christian bigot, the national
yeah.
Christian nationalists. They kind of skewed the message for political gains, man. So
Yeah, they did. They did. And here's the thing, and I'm not one of those Christians that like you got to be a Christian. You know, you can be whomever. You can follow whomever because I think it all leads to the same divine source. You know, what I'm
Yep.
saying the God of the
Yep.
universe, right? And
Yeah.
Christianity is one way to get to it. Islam is one way to get to it. Judaism, Buddhism, all of these are ways in which we can find our way to the source. But
Yeah.
the thing is, believe in the source and find your way to the source, and try to live in alignment with it. And the source of life is not bigotry, is not hatefulness. The source of life really is just love. It really is.
There it is.
And I think that the God of the universe is just love.
There it is. It's the highest vibration.
Novacaine,
Oh,
you have the next question, ma'am.
I don't know which way to go now. Shoot. We just went to church for a hot little second.
I'll, we did for real. I'll take
amen.
the next question.
Amen.
Um,
Amen. Go ahead, BK.
so we're a pop culture podcast, so
Yes.
Mm.
let's talk some pop culture here.
Ooh, okay.
And I want to talk about trans representation because I know here recently Netflix and not to bring up old buddy from X name, Twitter.
Oh, that guy. Mm.
He kind of focused his
He's an
attacks
alien.
on a older cartoon that
Mm.
featured trans people. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on the representation of trans in media today.
Oh, that's a big question. So my thoughts on it.
We got time.
Here's the thing. Let me just back up a little bit. I think there came a tipping point, right, where trans folks we were very very visible in media. This happened about 10 years ago because I was a part of that machine of making sure that they had equal representation and fair representation, and I was all over the TV, and Laverne was on TV, and Laverne Cox, shout out to Laverne, was on the
Shout
cover
out.
of Time magazine, the trans tipping point. That visibility, the pendulum kind of was swinging. So it would kind of got very visible, and the reaction to that was severe, right? Because people could not understand like why we were existing. So I think to your point, I think that the trans representation in media of has been better because of the work that we've been doing over the years. I think
Hmm.
we have
Hmm.
more stories, have more complicated stories in media, but the fact that trans people are visible is a part of the reason why we're having this hateful legislation, this hateful backlash right now. And it's not necessarily because I think there's a couple things that's happening. First, people are like, where are all these trans, where do these trans people come from? As if that we are some hiccup in the culture,
I was about to just say that.
like we're the
Yeah,
result of
Y'all
something
been here.
yeah,
Y'all
they've
been
been
here.
here the entire time.
thousands of years. We're human beings. Like trans people have existed since the dawn of time, right?
Hmm.
There's that, but then also the representation of trans people has really become a political football because it's a really great shiny kind of weird object for people to look at so that they can be distracted from what is really going on. And also I think the taking away of trans people's rights, and he's creating these really awful and violent propaganda campaigns against a population of people who are only like 2% of the world's population is a litmus test for them to do it to other people. So it's like
Hmm.
start
Mm.
most vulnerable first. You're going to start with trans women, particularly trans women of color and disabled people. Particularly trans people. We're going to start with those folks first to see how the culture is going to respond to picking on this minority group from taking away their rights for how much they're going to believe this propaganda campaign so then they can move on. So then you could do this to women, you can do this to disabled people, you can start to do this to black people, and we are seeing that. So the erosion of like human rights for all of us really started with the propaganda campaign against trans people. And this is something that has been very deliberate and very intentional. So I think what's important right now is that for trans folks not to be just in front of the camera, but for us to be behind it, to making sure that
Mm.
Hmm.
stories, what I'm saying, that we are making sure that we are represented in a way that is complex and that is full of love and joy and complicated emotions. And we're continuing to, fight for our rights to exist. And I think the second part of that, when it comes to the representation of trans people, we don't see a whole lot of trans masculine representation. There's not a whole lot of talk about trans
Hmm.
masculine people with trans men.
This is very true.
I'm saying? Because when they talk about bathrooms, they're not talking about me, right?
Nope.
My boy Caden,
Yeah.
shout out to Caden. He was just on it's a local news show in Houston. Well, then in Texas they just filed this law that says they can fine you $125,000 if you don't go into the bathroom that is aligned with the gender that's on your birth certificate.
Really?
Yeah, they just passed it. They passed this law in Texas. So
One of them states I'm never moving to. I keep on telling
Yeah, I don't never
everybody.
want to go to Texas. I don't never
I
want to
keep on
move to
telling
and
Texas.
everybody.
if anybody from Texas is listening, Texas sucks.
Yes, it
So
does.
it sucks. So I
Sorry,
don't know.
Nessa. Sorry, Nessa.
I ride through. I ride through some
I'll
places.
visit.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
but
lock the doors right through. But no, but so they just passed it. They just passed this bill. But here's the thing: they're doing it because they're saying that they're trying to, protect women and girls. But women and girls are not complaining about trans women in bathrooms. Trans women have been going to the bathrooms with other
Exactly.
women, and you don't want me to go into the women's room, the women's locker room, because there's an F on my birth certificate. You don't. You don't. And the
Hmm.
thing is that the reason, a part of the reason we don't see a lot of trans masculine representation in trans men in media is because we disrupt the narrative. We really disrupt the narrative that you're
Hmm.
doing this because you're trying to protect women. No, you're not. You want to look at people's parts. You want to be the judge of who is woman enough and who isn't, who's feminine enough, who isn't, because things like this are going to hurt me. They're not necessarily going to hurt, because I'm a cis passing man. People think I'm a cis man all the time. I know trans women who pass for cis. This is going to hurt non-binary people. This is going to hurt
Hmm.
people with like, who have hormones imbalances with like PCOS. This is
Hmm.
disabled people. You know what I'm saying? This is going to hurt a very particular type of human being on the spectrum. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
And that's what it's about. It's not about protecting. It's about evaluating and saying who is valuable or not, and who has right to space. So I think that's another thing that I can say about trans representation in the media, is that there's not enough trans masculine representation. And that's because we disrupt the narrative, and also because masculinity isn't commodified and consumed in the same way that femininity is.
That's true. They
oh
feel like
man,
their masculinity is threatened really, really badly right now.
Hmm. For what? Nobody taking nothing from you.
Mm.
Nobody taking
I
nothing from you. I always say making
I
space
would
for other people don't take space from other people. It
It
doesn't.
no,
don't.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It don't.
I would reckon to say that a lot of the
Reckon.
men, yeah, reckon I'm from Alabama. Sometimes it slips through. Um, I think sometimes men, when they see a trans woman and then they become attracted to the trans woman, now they're questioning themselves.
That
So
doesn't make them less of a man, though. Like
it
that's the
it
problem.
doesn't. It doesn't. But I'm a dude. I know dudes sometimes they have those moments, when you have those conversations with other men.
Yeah,
We say stuff like that sometimes.
Toxic
And I
masculinity.
is it is it toxic or is it just fear of like the society that we live in? Like, cause
listen,
you always get told what your manhood is supposed to look like.
that's true.
And
Listen, I think toxic masculinity isn't necessarily like inherited of men, of cis men or trans men, but it is the culture. I think, listen, I am team. I'm gonna be. I'm team men are trash. And I get into. I get into it. I really am. I am. Just
oh,
like
I'm not mad at it at all. I
Just like
think the
just
same
like
way
I'm team
sometimes.
like all white people are racist and all men are trash, and I'm men, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that in the same way, like with white folks who have not taken the intentional steps to like deconstruct like their whiteness and understand the privilege that they have and not move in it, right?
Mm,
Those folks are dangerous, and I don't mess with white people who haven't done it. The white people in my life who I love have done that work that they need to do, and men need to do the same things, particularly cis men
facts.
who are born.
Mm-hmm.
You're born into a society that tells you have all these entitlements and you're this and you're that and you're not this and you're not that. You have to take the intentional steps to deconstruct that and not live and work from those places of privilege. Because as men, particularly as black men, if we're working from those places of privilege, then we're not working in solidarity with our women. We're not
Mm-hmm.
working in protection and solidarity of our children or to the advancement of our families or our communities. So it's really, really important for us as black men to get under all of that toxic shit. 'Cause a lot of that, sorry.
No,
You're
it's fine.
fine.
It's
That
fine.
was the one. That
Okay,
was
that
that
was
was
good.
that
That
was your one. That was your one.
okay, good.
And it's just the S one. It's only the S
Good.
one. The
No,
S
Good.
one
you
is
are
fine.
on the roll. You're on the
Yeah,
roll.
the S one is fine.
Okay, I'm sorry because
They might
you
not even
know.
pick it up. They might not even pick it up.
Okay, okay, good. Because I was talking fast. Um,
That'd be all right.
That's
yeah,
that New York coming out right there.
that's that. We get to going. You know what I mean? But no, but I think that's really important for us to get under those things because a lot of those things are rooted in white supremacy. A lot of the toxic
Mm-hmm.
masculine things that we see, particularly amongst black men, is rooted in white supremacy. But getting back to when it comes to trans women, first off, trans women are women, and if a man sees a woman, you're attracted to her. You're a man who's attracted to a woman. Doesn't make you any less than. Doesn't make you anything other than a man who's attracted to women. But you have to first understand that trans women are women and some men and a lot of men can't get no let me not say a lot of men can't get around their heads around that publicly,
That's what
That's
I
Mm,
was thinking. That's what I was gonna say.
okay.
mm,
The girls,
publicly.
the girls get the boys. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they got boyfriends and they have lovers and they have sugar daddies and they have friends. But the heartbreaking thing about this is that so many trans women are just loved under the cover of night. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't go to movies, they don't go on dates. You know, so a lot of there's a lot of that happening, and it's heartbreaking. Some of the most brilliant and most beautiful and brave people that I know have been trans women, have been Black trans women, who I think deserve to be loved out loud.
Out
But it's,
loud.
but it's the culture. And here's another thing too. I think that there are more men who are on this sexuality spectrum than not. You know, I think that we oftentimes, it's okay for a woman to like you have an experiment in college, or to like, oh, I dated a girl for like a quick second, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? And to kind of and be like, or I've had this loving relationship with another woman, or if I had a great sexual relationship with this person, and she can kind of talk about it and it'd be okay and it'd be fine.
But
Men,
if a
well,
man,
the man said it because men are doing it at the same rate. At the same
mm-hmm,
rate. Like, please, please. They're having their experiences with other men. They're having loving relationships. They're having their fun, sexual, kinky times, but aren't allowed the space to like breathe it in and to say that I can do this and I can still be a masculine person. I can do this and still be straight, or however you want to define. I think that manhood and masculinity is just so small. It's so small, and when you create this a small vessel for humanity that is so big and so complicated, you create monsters out of people.
facts.
This
When
is
you
how
say so small, you mean like the space for it.
the
Like
space to be
we
like
can't add
masculinity.
anything in there.
Yeah, and masculinity is like, oh, you gotta like blue and you gotta like sports and you gotta be aggressive and you can only fear like you can only feel like anger and lust and you can't ever be
Mm-hmm.
scared and you can't have you can't say that a man's attractive and you can't like niggas men every now and then, or you can't you just you gotta be just so small. You have to be so small in order to be a man. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that men, we deserve more space
I agree.
to explore our
Yeah.
humanity, not
I
just your
agree.
sexuality, but to explore your humanity. And we perpetuate the smallness of manhood, and then we create
Mm-hmm.
monsters out of our men, and it's awful.
I mean, it's
I agree.
literally in everything though. Like, in our music, is in
Yep.
our media, movies, TV
Yep.
shows.
Everywhere,
If you go to
everywhere.
your friend and be like, "Yeah, I think I may be gay," and then now the whole school knows. Speaking
Yeah,
in terms of high school and stuff
Yeah.
yeah,
like that.
sure.
So now you peer pressured into being
Yeah.
who you're not, or
But the thing is
or
that
hiding those feelings.
and I think you talk about earlier how they were trying to do that boycott of Netflix because of a trans character on a cartoon, right?
What cartoon was this anyway?
Man, what was that?
I don't even know the name of the cartoon.
I never even heard
I
of
saw
it.
I saw people talking about it when I came back on social media, but there's always fake outrage going on. So I
It's
just
Yeah, people, you pick and choose your battles, and it's just so easy to pick on the trans folks because trans folks are such an other that it doesn't allow you to really look in the mirror at yourself. So we're talking about the messages that we're giving to young people, particularly young men. Just listen, you listen to hip hop right now. It's all about me. I'm better than you because I got more money than you.
yep.
I don't, me. We don't love these women. We love this money. I'm married to
Mm-hmm.
the streets.
Yep.
It's all
All the
about
drugs they use,
yeah,
all
drugs and infidelity, and
mm-hmm.
it's just there's no love. There's no
There's
love.
no love.
None.
There's no
None.
love. None. It's just
None.
lust and it's just sex and it's just competition. You got black men competing against each other. You got black men competing against women. You got nobody showing each other love. But you worried about trans people? You worried about the representation that I have? You need to be worried about the representation that we're perpetuating to each other, because it's those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things that create toxic men, that create
Mm-hmm.
toxic femininity, that create this poison in our communities. Is where we're going to pick and choose because we're not brave enough to look at ourselves.
There it
And
is.
that's the thing. Y'all can look at trans people all you want, but don't want to look at yourself.
I had to look at myself not too long ago, a couple of years, maybe it might have been either last or a year before last. I was advocating really heavy for men to be more open about their sexuality
Hmm.
because I feel like there's so many bisexual men, and then during that time, I had like 5 men come out to me,
Hmm.
friends, cousins,
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, I'm bi, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then
Yeah.
as soon as I started talking about it publicly, I had someone was like just assumed that my husband was bi. And I was
Mhm.
like, nah, he ain't with that gayish. And then I had to check
Yeah.
myself.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
I had to check myself because it's
Mhm.
like, even if it was, it's none of their business. But at the same time, like, it would be okay because I accept it.
Yeah. Yeah.
it would be okay. So
Hmm.
it's like we have to look into ourselves with a lot of the any of the spectrums, whether it's
Yeah.
sexual, physical,
Whatever.
mental, whatever it is,
Yeah.
because there's no black and white to anything that we do in this world.
No,
No, it's not.
absolutely not.
Yeah, the thing is when we watch other people's expansion, we're able to see people living their authentic self, people coming out as bisexual, people being trans. It calls us to do something. Like you said, you know what I'm saying? So somebody said that your husband bisexual, yo, he not with that gay shit. That called you that moment. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
this conversation, people feeling comfortable enough with you to come out to you as bi, and then it called to you to say, there's something that I need to get under to. And a lot of people
Exactly.
aren't ready to do that. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that, but we have to. And I think that's for me. That's why I always say like the trans experience is about the future. I think that trans people are the future, and the queer experience is because the queer experience. You don't have to be a trans person or a gay or a queer person to have a queer experience. I think the queer experience is about reflection and defining yourself for yourself. Saying that the person I am is tethered to my spirit, not to whomever you think I'm supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
because of how I look or because of my skin or because of whatever. This is exactly who I'm going to be. This is the man I am. This is the woman I am. This is the person that I am. Right. So I think a queer experience calls us to task to show up for ourselves in a really real and scary and authentic way.
Mm-hmm.
And I
So
think
you're
that
saying, I'm sorry, you're saying the queer experience is more than just a sexuality because because I mentor kids from time to time too, and I've had conversations, not anything recently, but I do remember having conversations years ago with kids where they were not the kids necessarily, but the parents around those kids where they were concerned about the sexual aspect of it
Mm-hmm.
because it seems like when the younger generation hears about who they supposed to be,
Mhm.
um, it always seems to go into the sexual nature. So how do you combat that? I guess would be the thing they would
wait,
be worried
what's
about as parents.
what's your question? So you're saying so what you find with parents is that what's coming back to the sexual thing?
Well, when they hear about the kids being or wanting to be gay or trans or lesbian, it
Yeah,
always seems to be about the sexual aspect of it versus, say, emotions or
Themselves.
feeling it or
yeah.
feeling their emotions or learning something about themselves.
Okay,
So
but I guess my question to that would be: would the parents still feel the same way if their child came to them and they were straight?
probably not.
Okay,
I
right.
mean, let's just be honest here.
That's
Like
that's the part.
even
That's
when
the
you watch
part.
TV and media now, the biggest argument for most parent groups is remember Steven Universe? I don't know if you
Mhm,
guys I got a kid. So
mhm.
at the time when Steven Universe was getting big, so he watched it. And I ended up watching it too. Great show, by the way. One of my
Love it.
favorite shows. Um, a lot of the parent groups were worried about the same sex dancing and the the tone of it because it can be a little risque at times. But they're not worried about any of the risque stuff that happens in the other cartoons and
Yeah,
movies
the
with
straight
straight
stuff.
people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a big old queer and I'm trans, and I grew up seeing nothing but straight people doing straight people things, and none of that really rubbed up off on me, in a real way. So I think that would be my question: if you would have a problem with that, if they're seeing like heterosexual coupling
Right.
or loving relationships, then what's the problem here? And the problem is because you have some internalized homophobia. And you know what happens with parents? You say that to them. It's like, no, I'm not homophobic, I'm not transphobic, but I don't want that for my child. So I want them to have a good life. I don't want people to treat them a kind of way. But it starts at home. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I talk about my mother. The reason I have such a good life and have been okay is because I got loved at home.
You got loved at home.
Anybody tell me nothing. My mom and daddy love me. My
Mm-hmm.
sisters don't play about me. Like so, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. So it starts at home.
You're the youngest too, right?
I'm the baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
So they
position to be in
definitely
as a kid.
nah facts. 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 This is facts. And
True.
that's what is going to change. I feel like that what changes anyone's experience out here in this world is that because even with me growing up and making these friendships and talking to my parents, I realized that they weren't raised on a lot of people weren't raised in that love.
They weren't.
Their parents were not loving. They did not care to the core. They may have cared like, okay, they don't want them to go out there and do some crazy stuff or whatever, but to mold them into a good person, a
Right.
lot of parents did not care about that.
No, no, they don't. And you know what? When I first came out to my dad the first time as a teenager, he said to me something to the effect that you're going to tell me who you are. It's your job to tell me who you are. It's my job to tell you how to be the best you in this world. That's
I
it.
like that.
I like
And,
that too.
and that's it. Let your kid tell you this is who you are. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to live your life in love and in honesty and be transparent and have some integrity. If you're going to be gay, if you're going to be trans, if you're going to be feminine and masculine, if you're going to be, I don't know, if you're going to be nerdy into this, if you're going to be whomever you are, you tell me who you are, and I'm going to show you how to be the best version of yourself. And I think that as
Hmm.
parents, we could just internalize that and kind of and let go because our children are not ours. They don't belong to you. They belong to themselves. They belong to God. They belong to themselves. So
Hmm.
the idea is to raise, healthy adults who don't have to get over their childhood, right?
There it
Yeah.
is.
Healthy adults that don't have to get over their childhood. This person, they're going to tell you who they are, and who your kid is may be something totally different than who you thought that they were supposed to be.
Yep.
Okay, you know who I thought you were supposed to be. This is who you tell me. This is my weirdo ass kid right here. Here they are. Let me teach this little weirdo how to be a good person.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that's it. Really?
I
Hmm.
Let
as
go.
a parent of two teenagers now, I think
Mhm,
at some point, because again, so many kids around were exploring with their sexuality.
mhm,
I had to also. My daughter was asking me questions when she was younger about this stuff because she wanted to learn about it because all her friends were saying these type of things. She was like 8, 9,
mhm.
10, maybe. And so that was like those moments where, like you said, you had to like kind of check yourself a little bit because
Hmm.
I was like, I don't think I would know what to do because she was asking. I was like, I don't know. Like, you can't ask me nothing like that because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how I would react
Yeah.
if that
Hmm.
were you. I really wouldn't.
What you say? If
Hmm.
So
that were you, like, if your kid was gay?
yeah, yeah. So she was like 9 asking me this stuff. And just because all her friends were talking about it. So she wanted to know too. And I was
People,
like,
you'd be surprised how early children realize it. Like, I have a gay friend. We knew he was gay since we were in the second grade. Like, it was no surprise when he came out. Like,
Yeah, I do. I
kids
know
just
like
be
girls
knowing.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, kids just be knowing. Like, it's a
yeah, I will
natural.
say
It's like
some
a natural thing. Like, it's not
a
something
lot
that
of
just
kids do be knowing though.
they
A
be
lot of kids do be
knowing.
knowing.
They be
Man,
knowing.
the thing is, because kids are human beings, and it's also like I think it's adults to like differentiate ourselves from like having like having a romantic emotional life and having a sexual life. 19-year-old kids don't need to be sexualized. They don't need to be sexualized.
Right.
At the same
Right.
That part.
at the same time, they still are developing their emotions. They're developing romantic emotions. They're developing attraction. That doesn't mean sex. It's a different part of their humanity. It's a different part of their
Yeah.
emotions. So let them, the gambit. Okay, you like this one, you feel okay. We don't have to sexualize it. Just, roll with it.
And I think that's the separation people aren't understanding. They
Hmm.
want to group everything into one, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Right.
and
We
that's
weren't
the part
exactly taught that.
when it goes to like seeing like like queer gay people on TV, straight folks' mind first automatically goes to sex. But when you see heterosexuals, you don't automatically go to sex. You know, oh, this is a loving relationship. They're creating
Hmm.
a family. You don't see that when you see with the gays and the trans folks. All you think is sex, and that's because and going back to talk about media representation, it's important for us queer and trans folks to tell our stories because we are so much more than who we are bumping our parts with. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like you as heterosexuals, you are so much more than who you sleep next to,
that's
who you
facts.
attracted to.
That
Like
is
it's so
facts.
much more to your humanity, and it's so much more to the love and the loving romantic relationships that you create.
Hmm.
There's more to just sex that you have than just sport. I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes it's a sport. Y'all are married, so but you're not a married person,
Well, you're not a married person,
or I don't know.
or if you're just single, you.
I think we're getting into the weeds on that one a little
Yeah,
bit. I don't
I don't
know.
know. I'm divorced, so don't let me even. Whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm hip. Teak. I wasn't
We
married
got
all my
you. We
life.
got you.
I wasn't married all my
Yeah,
life.
see what I'm saying? It's an exchange of love.
Yes,
But it's hard
yes,
for people to see that because they have these internalized ideas about queer and trans people. But we create really loving romantic relationships and families and really boring families that are full of like love. Like it's not all like leather and kink and sex. Like stop it.
facts. I
I
agree.
kind of blame How to Get Away with Murder for some of that. Like, I don't know what it was about ABC at that time. Anytime they featured a gay couple, man, it was just
They was in it.
on site every time.
now that you're saying it, it's almost like how it was in the 70s with the black exploitation films.
Hmm.
It's
Mm.
almost the exact same. Like we
Yeah,
were hoes and pimps and
yeah,
drug addicts, and that was it. We
yeah.
we
But
couldn't be superheroes. We couldn't be doctors. We couldn't
yeah,
be everything else.
yeah, but and I think a part of that goes back to that tipping point because when How to Get Away with Murder and that all Shondaland was out, that was around the time there was a lot of work happening around the visibility of queer people and of trans people, and I think that's one of the first places that people go to normalize because you'll see heterosexual couples, they come in, they start snatching each other's clothes off as soon as they hit the door, like, and we know that don't work like that in real
It
life.
don't. It
And
never happens.
like, wait a minute, give me a second.
And-
Get-
You offer me for a minute.
they brush all the whole breakfast off the table.
for real, you
No, ain't
always
nobody
got to throw
doing
the
that.
dishes off the table. That's
No,
that's a
nobody's doing
Groceries
that.
are
prerequisite.
way too expensive. I wish some woman would. Ma'am, you buy me. You about to buy me some more groceries. You know that.
You know what though? That's why I appreciated.
Taking my stuff on the floor.
Right?
That's why I
You know what? You
appreciated
eat it.
Laverne Cox. That's why I appreciated Laverne Cox in How to Get Away with Murder. I mean, not How to Get Away with Murder, Orange is the New Black.
Orange is
Yeah,
the new black. Hmm.
yeah,
Because it's like when she showed up, it it was a different vibe. It
yeah,
was like they raised the game a little bit with the storytelling. Like you finally got a chance to dig into who she was and get
yeah,
into her emotions and understand why she was the way she was and the motivations of the character. And I'm kind of disappointed that we don't have because at that point I'm thinking like, okay, we're gonna see
yeah,
it mellow out a little bit, you know.
mm,
But I don't think we ever got to that point, which is kind of sad,
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I have no other questions about the main stuff,
I
but
got one.
Novocaine got one more.
Not for the main stuff.
No,
I
no,
just
no. The
I was
next
gonna
the
go
next
into
segment of this
okay.
show, the end of this show, you got to
Yeah,
end
because
it right.
we about to wrap it up.
Okay.
So we're taking it back. We are taking it back. We used to always ask our guests to name their top five. Originally, it started with top five rappers. You're from New York, so you probably do have top five rappers of
Wait,
all time.
He
So, but
he
if
was
you,
like he was about to be insulted, like yo.
you know, as a hip hop journalist, right? That's what I should
that's
do.
where it come from. That's where it originated right there. But if you didn't want to do top five rappers, you could also do top five musicians or entertainers of all time. All time, go.
Okay, so okay, I'm gonna do top five rappers of all time.
All time.
Your personal all time.
Your personal all time that you
My
love.
personal, my
Mhm.
personal. Okay, this is in no particular order.
Okay.
Okay.
Black Thought,
Mm.
Nice.
Steph,
Nice.
Lauren Hill.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
those are three. I want to say Ludacris just to give some props to the South because Ludacris
Thank you.
is a lyricist. He
I've
really
been
is.
saying that. I be saying that.
People be
That
sleeping
man,
sleeping on
that
him.
man
So
got butter in the voice.
come on now, Ludacris is the man. And Conway the Machine. Shout out to Conway from Buffalo. He's a
Hey,
major rapper.
Conway.
Yeah,
Wait, was
yeah.
that 5?
That was
That
five.
was
You
fun.
said
And then I remember all of Wu Tang.
All of
all of Wu Tang.
Yeah, Wu Tang.
That's the honorable mention right there.
Yeah, but
I
all
feel
them.
like
He
I
said
feel
Black
like you
Thought.
have to say Wu Tang.
You
Like
gotta
it's a
say Wu
pretty. You
Tang.
got to say Wu Tang.
So you
Yeah,
said Black Thought, Most Def,
yep.
Lauren
Lauren Hill.
Hill, Ludacris, and
And
Conway the
Conway,
Machine.
Conway the
Hey,
Machine.
shout out to Conway. I love me some Conway.
Yeah, Conway
Yeah.
is married to my cousin.
Hey, shout
Really?
out cousin.
Yeah, shout out cousin.
Oh, so he has to be on the
He
list.
got to
Like,
be on the
Yeah, of
list.
course.
Sorry.
can
You
you
got
imagine going? Can you imagine saying that and then going to like a family dinner and he's looking across the table like, oh, so I ain't know your top five.
no top five for me, cuz. No,
Yeah,
That's how
sir.
we rolling right now.
he had that distinct grimy like Buffalo sound that
He
I really.
does. He
It's
does. He
no.
has. I was telling my brother because he's the one that put me on to Griselda,
Hmm.
and I was telling him that like it's something fresh about them when he first put me on. I was like, it's something fresh, it's something new, it's something different, but it's also something that feels natural in the order of like rap music. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I hate the state of rap right now.
Me
I'm not a
too.
huge fan. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge,
And I like Conway because Conway he make like grown man rap. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like I'm in my 40s, so some of the stuff these kids be talking about, I don't understand. First, I can't understand it.
That's the important
Haters
part
hate
right there.
for it. You know
What
what
are
I'm
they
saying?
saying?
What are y'all talking about?
What are y'all
Mm.
talking about?
But he really like the rappers that I like. Really have the really understand like the element of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great storyteller. Lauren, Mos Def, Black Thought, they can really tell you a story in a way that makes like black people in hip hop so brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
like that.
for sure.
Now I want to know what your thoughts are on like Jay-Z,
Oh,
Biggie, Pac.
That's it. I loved all of them. I'm a kid from the '90s, so I loved all of them. Now, just Biggie, love Biggie. Big was an amazing lyricist. However, Biggie was an awful person. He was
that's what
abusive.
I'm starting to find out.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, like bad. Like he was
I'm
bad.
s- I've been learning for like the past 3, 4, 5 years now that he was not a great human
He was
being.
not a good guy. He was not a good guy at all. He was not a good guy at
Mm-mm.
all. This kind of sucks. But aside from his humanity, I think as an artist, he was an exceptional artist. And so is Jay Z. I love Jay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying I got a lot of love for Jay, but he too, he's become a little bit compromised in
He's
his
a little
relationship.
questionable too.
Yeah, once you become a billionaire, it's like, can I even trust you? Because why you
Mm-hmm.
got that
Okay,
much
touche.
money?
Yeah.
Why you
Mm-hmm.
got that much money? How you got that much money?
How did you get that much money?
No, I don't
How
trust
did you?
you.
How? What are you doing?
What are you
What's
doing?
ain't
Now,
that much crack in the world?
now, who
What's
had to
happening?
die for you to get that much money? Whose soul did you have to sell? Who did you have to exploit?
There's a lot of questions,
Too many questions. You got that much money. I ain't playing with you. I ain't messing with you, Playboy.
especially if you ain't if you weren't born into it. Like,
That don't make sense. It's
how
too
did
much.
how did it happen? What's
Yeah, too
going
much
on?
It's
is never too much. If somebody got too much of something ain't right.
it it it
I
took us
feel
a
you.
while, but we rolled back into conspiracy theory of the show. It took us
Hey,
about it took us about 3 episodes to get back here, but we
hey,
got back here. We
don't
made
you
it.
get me started, BK.
Because when Beyonce dropped that line, like y'all corny with that Illuminati mess, everybody left it alone.
Everybody left it alone, but
Everybody
did
left it
they?
alone. Little Jedi
I
mind trick.
mean,
And I love me some Yonce.
Me
Yonce, I
too.
love me some Yonce, but I be
But,
questioning.
but I think there's outside like the conspiracy theories. Like I don't know if there's skull and bones and Illuminati and all of those things. But for you as a capitalist to be a capitalist and to amass that much money, large swaths of people have had to be exploited.
Yeah, that I
People have
agree.
lost their lives.
touche.
Whether it's people on the continent. There are people who have
Hmm.
lost their lives
I
because
agree.
you have $1 billion and you have $1 billion and it's still and you could take 50 million of your 1 billion and probably really put a dent into homelessness, into education, to all of
You
these
can do
things.
anything,
You
but
could you could change the world, but you're just hoarding all of your money. I don't know if that means you my people. I don't care if
there
you
it is.
Jay-Z or not.
You know what? Good point. Good point.
There it
Good
is.
point.
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm scared to bring up Jay Z anymore after
Don't
that.
be scared.
I like that. Are you a Jay-Z fan? I like Jay.
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
both like Jay Z.
I'm a Jay Z fan. I'm
We
a
like
Jay
Yeah,
Z
his
I like
fan.
music.
Jay. Listen,
Jay Z's in my top five. Ghostface, Slick
for
Rick,
sure. Yup. Slick Rick. Yeah, for sure.
Dre,
Amazing
Andre
storytelling.
3000.
Yeah,
Finish
Andre
out.
3000, amazing. Yeah. That Outcast album, the first one, that double album.
Oh man,
Hey,
the
hey.
double
That
album
double
was
album, did anybody listen to what's the name's album though? Let's just like no shade.
Big
Who?
Uh
Boy.
Big Boy. Was you listening to that Big Boy album?
The double album that came out. What was
Double
it?
album.
The
Hey,
Love
Big
Below
Boy.
and Speaker Box.
Speaker
Five
Box.
songs,
Mm-hmm.
like 5 songs
Yeah, there's a
off
few.
off Big Boy, but the rest of it I
You
was
was
on
on the Love
3K side.
Below. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Love Below was just that
It was something
sonically
about it.
Gorgeous.
it was different.
Yeah,
Gorgeous album.
yeah.
I
The
still
way
Yeah.
listen.
that I love a good flow for an album, and it just flowed. Like
Mhm.
I love it. I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
Either
Now
anybody
he
We
listen
released
to Big Boy.
whatnot. He could go and hang that up. I listened to his
now
flute album. Was it a flute? Whoever he
I
was
listen
playing.
to the flute. I listen to the flute.
I did listen to it. It's not my thing.
Not
It's
my
not
thing.
my thing.
I
It
think people
was
just trying to like it because it was him. I was like, this is
it
trash.
was it was decent for a flute album. It was not the best because I listen to like that type of music because I get into yoga.
Hmm.
So I listen to that type of music, but it could have been better actually. It wasn't bad,
You're
If I'm
but
gonna
nice.
listen to some wind albums, some wind instruments on an album, I'm going Kenny G.
I was saying, put some kids. Somebody's been playing that bad boy for a minute with all the
Yeah,
buttons.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, big ups to Dre. You know, you got to learn something new.
it sounds
I
like he
get
needs
it.
a little bit more practice. I ain't gonna hold you.
he needs
I ain't
practice.
gonna hold you. It did
A
sound
little
like
bit.
just a little bit. There was like this. It was like two songs though that he was snapping on, but that was just two songs. I was like,
Um,
I played through it one time. I was working. I was like, okay, I did. You got my spins. You got my spins. I'm done.
yeah,
I've contributed. I am done.
I think we talked about it on an older episode where we were like the BK Spade show for like 5 minutes, and I was like, "This ain't for me. It's not for me. It's not for me."
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I listened to the whole track.
rip the cord out.
Rip the cord out. Throw the CD away. I don't know. Whatever it is.
Is there an artist? Can we end on a positive note? Is there anything
Oh
positive?
yeah, T. Do you have anything coming up? Anything that you
Oh,
want to
good
talk
one.
about?
Oh, what I got coming up? Let's see. Well, I got a bunch of speaking gigs coming up. Some of my corporate works. I do a lot of corporate engagement. So I'm speaking at a couple corporations in the next couple months. But I also have a public speaking storytelling course called The Resonant Voice, louder for the people in the back. So this is
Mm,
it's an in-person live 90-minute workshop that people can do with me. They can do it for 6 weeks, or they can do it for just 1 week. And it's one-on-one with me, and I'm teaching folks how to be good public speakers, how to write speeches, how to write micro speeches, how to
nice.
find their voice. We talk about like how to get through. We talk about the psychology of fear and how to work past your fear. Because 77% of people name public speaking as one of their top fears. So this is a huge thing for
Mm.
people. And for me, it's really important to do this work, not because because I'm good at it. I know how to teach and I know how to. I'm a good public speaker. But I think it's so important for all of us to have a voice.
You're an amazing public speaker. Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you so much.
You
Take my
do.
class.
I am. If it's virtual, I'm in DC, so
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah.
virtual. I'm creating modules now so that they can be self-paced, so people don't
Okay.
have to meet with me. They can purchase it and they can do it at their leisure. But I think it's important because I think it's important for all of us to have a voice right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're seeing the erosion of institutions and we're seeing the erosion of systems and we're seeing so many propaganda campaigns, it's important that people be able to speak back to it and speak back to it in a way that's structured and it's concise and is clear. And I know how to teach people how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that I'm doing for the people, and I also do emotional intelligence and inclusive communication, like workshops and lectures too, for like my corporate clients. So if any corporate people out there and you want me to come talk to your people about how to raise their emotional intelligence and create systems of inclusive communication, I'm your guy. I'll come in and get your whole team together.
Okay. I love
Cool,
it.
cool. I like that too. I might have to
I
jump into
like
one
that
of
a
your
lot.
classes myself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, come check me out.
I like it a lot.
How can we sign up?
Yes, go to tiqmilan.com. You go there, all my offerings are there. You have a Resonant Voice is there, my Future Fluent, which is my corporate offering. Also, I'm doing gender doula work. So the gender doula work is really working with families who have trans children. And for people who may be older and they're transitioning and they want some guidance, some shepherding around the social transition. Like, what does that look like? How do you hold space as an ally? How do you transition into this world as a healthy person? So helping people with that as well. So it's less clinical and it's more like mentorship and guidance. So I'm doing the gender doula work as well. So all of that is on my website, tiqmilan.com. You just find it, click enroll, click contact, and then I or my team will get back to you.
Nice.
Do you sleep?
Barely like 5 hours a night, man. Like 5 hours.
5 hours. Do
That's
you
it.
nap? You get any naps in during the
I did.
day?
You know what? I took a little nap before this. I've been up since 4:30, and I was working and doing a bunch of
Okay.
stuff. I took a little 45 minute right before this.
Okay.
Now I'm good to go until like midnight
Okay. Okay.
All right.
for sure.
I'm learning that
Well,
naps is a lifesaver. Like
Life.
naps, lifesaver, bro.
man,
Hold on.
I
I'm
got
sorry.
to get that good nap on Sunday. Like on Sunday, the nap, the midday nap.
Yeah. Listen, right after church and
Amazing.
right before football start, I'm gonna nap real quick, and then I'll watch football for the rest of the day.
That's it.
All
Want
right,
to do?
we got to end it. So I want to thank you for coming through.
Yes. Thank
Thank
Milan.
you.
you.
This
Thank y'all for
was,
having me. This was fun.
oh
Yes.
man, this
You
was
coming back?
amazing.
Coming back.
We
Yeah.
definitely got to do this again because, like the hip hop conversation,
Oh,
I
we can
kind
go
of
there.
want
We'll
to.
dive into that.
We can go.
I do want to
That was
dive
where I
into
started.
it.
I was doing hip hop journalism for a long time. That's my first love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I had to transition. I got real butch, and people didn't know how to respond to me at hip hop parties and celebrities. That's a whole nother conversation. Though. It's a whole nother
Oh, we
You
will talk
just
about that next
so
time.
so many stories, just so much. It's so much.
There's a
I
lot.
dig it though. I dig it. I like it.
Word.
But again, thank you for coming through. We
Thank
definitely
y'all
had
for
a
having me.
blast talking to you.
For sure.
Um, I have been instructor BK Spades. Oh,
Nope. I gotta say the line. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you leave those comments. We're gonna interact back with you guys. Don't forget to uh follow us, like us, and also comment on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Amazing.
Oh, and www Society and Pop Culture 101.com, where you can find all of our new content, some of our old content, and all of our social media.
Awesome.
Yeah, I seen y'all asking about merchandise, and I'm gonna get on that. I promise. I know I promised that like 6 months ago, but it will happen. But anyway, I have been instructor BK Spades.
I'm Instructor Novacaine.
I'm Teak.
Thank y'all. Thank you, T. Thank y'all
Thank
for
you,
coming through.
T.